it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Do remember, if you need any of the products that I use, or indeed any Stampin' Up products and you're in the UK, you can shop with me just by following the link in the description bar below. Today is Saturday, so it is Simple Stamping Saturday, and I thought I would feature beautiful moments again. I used this for my Facebook Live earlier this week. I do a Facebook Live every Tuesday at 11 o'clock UK time. I call it my coffee and cards because before we were in the position that we are now in, I did a face-to-face coffee and card on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock. So it's kind of to fill that slot. I then repost it on YouTube. And I have been doing giveaways, and that is still live. So if you want to have a look at that, you may want to have a look at that video, find out how to enter. It's free to enter. Anyway, so beautiful moments. If you have seen that Facebook Live or the replay of it, this was the stamp set I swore blind I was not going to get. And I'm so pleased I have, because I am now a convert. And I've only made 2 cards, well, 4 technically. So it's red rubber, it's in the mini catalogue, and it is beautiful. And this is the project that I have made for today's video. As ever, because it is Saturday and it's Simple Stamping Saturday, I will be recreating this, and then I will show you 2 stepped up versions. One for someone who is a bit more than a beginner, and then one for people who have pretty much everything in the catalogue. Hello! Right, so I always use a note card and envelope, so it's really easy to get the right size. It's standard for everyone in all markets, whether you use North American cardstock or international A4. Our note cards and envelopes are the same size wherever you are in the world. I always stamp on the envelope, and specifically for Simple Stamping Saturday. So let me show you how it is made. I'm using Whisper White note card. They are scored for you already. I do not fold them until I have stamped. It is much easier to stamp on a surface that is not wafting, and if you fold your card in half, it will waft. So the first thing to do, once you've mounted your stamp onto your block, is ink it up with Memento. Memento is great when you are using our alcohol markers, the Stampin' Blends, but you can also leave it. You can also use it with a blender pen. You just need to make sure that the image is completely dry before you do. It says on the back very clearly, it is acid-free, fade-resistant, water-based, fast-drying. Quickly dries on most papers. When dry, stamped impressions are water-resistant. So they're not waterproof, but they are water-resistant. So, as I say, you can use them with a blender pen, which uses a mix of water and I think it's glycerin. So it will work, but do make sure that your image is completely dry first. So I always do the image that I'm going to colour first. Don't need that anymore, so let's pop that to one side. I've also got this funny squiggly line, which I am going to be using as a sort of horizon. I'm thinking of sand dunes. Now I need to, the edge of my card is there. That is the score line. So I want it to be, you know, between the crease and the edge. I want it to be reasonably even. It doesn't matter how you stamp this, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So you can go, you know, a bit more that way, you can go a bit more that way. It doesn't matter because it's just your line. So that's that stamped. Then I've got to do the birds, and then the sentiment will go on the inside once we have finished. So let me do the birds. So 1, 2, And then while I'm at it, I might as well do the envelope, and I do now, because I got it wrong once, live on camera, as it were. I do now check that I know which way up my envelope is, because I did once stamp it the wrong way up. And it was one of those images that kind of looked obvious, as in it was clearly the wrong way up. Right, okay, so I used the bigger collection, the original collection of watercolour pencils for this. I am going to see if I can replicate the colours reasonably closely using the second assortment, just in case you've got one but not the other. I have labelled mine with some washi tape, so I know which are which. So let me just, I know that I've got mauve, because my girl is, this girl is in a mauvey dress. So I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape for that, but not too much, because Gorgeous Grape is quite dark. And I don't want it too dark. So, and do remember, I will be using a blender pen, so I will be moving the colour around. So that's the only thing I need in that colour. Let's see, I want a yellow of some description. We have got Crushed Curry, which it's not ideal. In fact, I may use a different colour for that. I will use Crushed Curry for her hair, because that will work fine for my blonde girl. The real challenge is going to be the flesh colour, I think. But that's my blonde-headed girl. Ooh, I can do Cherry Cobbler for my red. So one of the buckets is red. So we have real red in the bigger set, the original set, and Cherry Cobbler in the smaller set. I suppose I could go, ooh, I wonder if that would work for, actually let's do, I'm going to do the ground, yes I am going to do the ground next. I'm going to do the ground with a mixture of Cajun Craze and Crushed Curry, I think. Cajun Craze is quite orange. I used early espresso for the previous one, which is a much, I'm going to say a much browner colour. It's more brown than orange. Cajun Craze is quite orange. But if I add a bit of Crushed Curry, that should help soften that down a bit, particularly once I've moved the colour around. So that's that. I'm still looking for, what's that? I'm going to try a small amount, a very small amount of Flirty Flamingo for the flesh. My concern is that they're going to look a bit sunburnt. I used Calypso Coral in the previous version, but we'll try Flirty Flamingo. But as I say, I'm a little concerned that they might look a bit sunburnt. I will do Cajun Craze for her hair, because she could be auburn. Don't you love how I'm justifying my colours? So then all I need to do is find something for her dress and the other bucket. Oh, and the sky. Let us use Balmy Blue for the sky. And you can see I'm using the edge because I just want a very light covering. I used Pacific Point for the other one, so it does work with a darker colour. The Balmy Blue pencil is slightly darker than Balmy Blue. Ooh, Coastal Cabana. Oh, did I missed off her legs. Don't think I added any colour. No, I didn't, to her legs. Let's give her sunburnt legs as well. That's better. Yes, we could use Cajun Craze. I don't think any of the other colours would be quite right, so we'll use Cajun Craze, not Cajun Craze, Coastal Cabana, a different CC. And then we can have a Coastal Cabana bucket as well. Oh, or we could use Night of Navy. No, I use Coastal Cabana. I'll just use more. I want that to be a more, I'm thinking plastic bucket. I know we shouldn't be thinking plastic anything these days, but there we go. Okay, so that is my colouring. I'm going to bring in a small piece of card just to clean my... That's actually quite dry. Let's see if the other end's better. Not really. Let me grab a different... That's better. I like to have a piece of card just to clean my nib on. So this is where we find out what's happened. Now I am going to go straight from here onto the sand dune because it's some of it is the same colour, because it's Cajun Craze and crushed curry. Yeah, that sort of works. It's quite an orange sand, but that's fine. I can live with that. I think, given a choice, I would probably err on the side of the first selection of markers. That's probably just me, but you know, I just think they're probably a better selection of colours for this. Cajun Craze for her auburn hair. And now let's see just how sunburnt they are. Oh, not, well, yeah, quite sunburnt. What I might do is grab Cajun Craze, just found a hair, and just add a tiny bit of Cajun Craze over the top, because that will give them more of a tan and less of a sunburn. So just add a tiny bit to the nib of your brush, and then, ooh, she's quite suntanned there. Oh well. But you can see you can get quite artistic with your watercolour pencils. You don't have to sort of think that they are only for children. I would say they are so not only for children. Right, let's do the Coastal Cabana there, and then I can come straight into the Coastal Cabana here, which will be nearer to probably Pool Party, because I have used a very, very small amount. And then clear that and do my bucket. And then I just need to, oh, and I've got her dress to do. But other than that, it's just the sky and then her dress. And actually, one of the things that's quite nice about using watercolour pencils is that you get a slightly streaky sky, which is quite common. You know, you get those lovely warm weather clouds that go in streaks. So the fact that it's a bit streaky doesn't actually matter. And there we go. So I will just do a reminder that what you don't want to do with your blender pen is that, because you do get little bits falling off. You peel your paper. I don't know if you can you see that there's a bit of paper that's come off the paper, and that's because it's over wet. So do be a bit careful about that. So let me stamp the inside, and then I can fold it in half and show you the stepped up versions. So just ink that up. So to do this as a standalone, just the note card project, make sure I'm doing it on the right side. All you need are the note cards and envelopes, a set of watercolour pencils, ideally a set of blender pens. You get 3 in a pack, so they last for a long, long time. And 1 ink pad. So not a huge amount of money just to dabble into card making. And if you get the right stamp set, it will carry you through lots and lots of occasions. There are some wonderful ones in the beginner brochure. And they're not just childlike. In there are adult versions as well. So there we are. There are my 2 simple versions. I do think this one is a better colour range for this scene, but it's, you know, the choice. If you've got both, obviously I would use both if you can go for both. So that's those. Let me bring in my next one. So this is introducing thick whisper white, and coloured cardstock. This is Pineapple Punch. I've used blends, and this is Pineapple Punch, these 2 here. This is Poppy Parade, because I wanted a really bright, vibrant bucket, or 2 buckets. So all I've done here is I've cut a piece of whisper white card that is, I want to say 2 and 5/8 of an inch square. Yeah, 2 and 5/8 of an inch. Then this is 2 3/4. And then we've got my usual mats. Don't worry, all the measurements will be on my website. And what I thought would be quite fun is to, because I just wanted that square in the middle, to extend the line of the sand dune, put the birds onto this piece rather than on here. And I just extended the line with one of the fine markers. It's one of the journaling pens. We sell them in a pair. There's this one, which is the 05, which is what I used for that, and the thinner one, which is 01, so very, very thin. So yes, so this was just a selection of blends, and then I've added some basic pearls in the corner here, just as a bit of an addition. And then for the more avid version, very similar, but I've used the stitched shapes for the square. And then I've just cut the Pineapple Punch by hand. The background, I don't know if you can see, I hope you can. This I embossed with the subtle embossing folder. So I stamped the birds first, and then I did the embossing. I did draw the line on after I'd done the embossing, but yeah, it just adds a bit more. And again, they've both got the sentiment on the inside. So there we are. Our simple, casual, all you need is a cutter and some card and a few embellishments with your blends. But blends actually are not expensive, which is why I was happy to use blends. And then this introduces die cutting and embossing, as in an embossing folder. So I hope you found that fun. I love, love, love this stamp set. I cannot get enough of it. I'm probably going to be flooding my YouTube and Instagram and Pinterest with projects using it, because I just think it is so cute and so useful for so many different occasions. I mean, this is just a lady in a field of corn or lavender, mother and child, siblings or cousins or friends. I just love it. And the sentiments, thinking of you, perfect. Absolutely perfect for now. You're somebody's blessing, again, perfect for now. And collect beautiful moments is great. We've also got these little butterflies. This is standalone. It's just lovely. Why I didn't think I was going to need it, I do not know. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for joining me. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing. And as I say, if you're in the UK and you want any products, I would be thrilled if you would shop with me and at least try out my customer service. I do try and look after my customers. I sent them all a care package, a crafty care package earlier this month. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!